hello there, I'm going to show you how to make this quilt block. This is the pattern we're going to be using. In that description box down below is exactly where you're going to be able to find this free pattern. You're going to take a pair of scissors and you are going to cut all the parts out. And you're going to do it along this line here, because the other line, this is the seam allowance. You don't want to cut that off. So what I like to do, obviously start with A1 and A2. I fold the fabric back. The white section is going to be facing the paper and the pink is going to be next to that. So basically these two pieces are going to be right sides together. If you are sewing with any kind of a print, you're going to flip this back, take it over to your sewing machine and sew this into place. The settings on the machine are as follows: polyester thread Quilting in the top, 90-14 sewing needle, regular sewing foot in the foot, bobbin thread and a 1.6 on the stitch length, on a stitch setting 3, and making sure this is set to a 3.5. You will place the section in your sewing machine and then you're going to press it down and sew. I like to reverse over and go back over. There we go. Now, as you can see, you are going to have some threads here. You're going to take these off and you are going to snip them. Fold that back. Find the next section and you are going to fold it over. You're going to get your cutting mat. Simply cut this at 1/4 inch. And then you are going to line your next piece of fabric up, which is this dark pink. Line that up over there, face down. Turn the paper around and stitch. Once again, you're going to flip the fabric back. You're going to turn the unit over. And then you're going to fold over the next section. Then you're going to take off 1/4 inch. I really do love these little mini quilt blocks. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Now, we need a white section. To get a white section, I'm going to place that face down if there's a pattern and sew across. Flip the fabric back. Find your next section, take off 1/4 inch, and get a light pink. Face down, pick up the unit and sew across this line. Flip this up. And that is one of your units of your mini quilt. So what we're going to do now is you're going to trim all the way around this mini quilt template. Don't take off any of the paper because we need that as the seam allowance. I'm going to go ahead and do section B exactly the same way as this section. Okay, so this is units A and B. So I am going to put them aside and then we're going to start working on C. So we want to go to C1 and it's going to be a white unit and a dark pink. So I'm going to grab that and put them together. And then we want the dark pink to be facing the paper. There we go, we've got 1/4 inch and we're going to stitch along that line. Turn the white section over, flip the paper back, and you are going to fold this over here and take 1/4 inch off. And then you're going to do white here. Turn it around. and sew along this line. Flip it back, and then you're going to turn this unit over here so we can do this big square bit, and take off 1/4 inch. Then this is my square unit here, and it's going to be face down, and you're going to sew right across, flip the unit back, and then once again you are going to go around the unit and take off the excess. This is the unit, so I'm going to work on section D, which is our very last part of our mini quilt. So once again, you're just going to fold between D1 and D2, get a white piece of fabric and the dark pink. The dark pink wants to be facing the paper. And I am just going to line it up. And then you're going to stitch right across. Flip across, and then find our next section, which is D3. Take off 1/4 inch, and then we're going to use our last piece of fabric for this D section here. And you're going to stitch across that line. Flip it. And turn it over, and then trim all around the outside again. I always like to line it up into the shape of the quilt block. So you're going to take these 2 sections away, and you're going to deal with these sections first. So you're going to take out the paper, and it should come out really easily. Now what you're going to do is get these 2 sections here, and you're just going to line it up, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch. I like to use my 1/4 inch foot with guide on my soprano and use stitch number 30 because I know that gives me 1/4 inch. Just make sure that's what you're stitching it with. Then you're going to flip this back, and I recommend just pressing with an iron. Now I'm going to take the paper out again of this other side. Now the best way to line this section up is at the seams here. We have 2 obvious seams. So I'm going to put them with seams together like so, and sew down. Then we're going to do the same thing with that other side. Remove the paper. And then once again, you're going to line up them seams and then sew. You're going to go ahead and do a quilt sandwich. So you have the backing, the batting, and the quilt top. So I'm going to do a decorative stitch with my soprano. Once you have done that, you can cut off the excess all the way around. So now you're going to take your binding, and I don't do a regular quilt binding, so you're just going to go around and do your normal way that you do it, and you're going to stop at the closing. So we've come to the end here. So what I'm going to do is cut a little bit off, and then I want an overlap going over the 2. So I'm going to cut about that much off. So when you look at it, you've got a nice overlap. So what we want to do at both sides is fold it over, hiding the raw edges. And then you're going to go across and you're going to sew that into place. If yours is looking like mine, you're going to have to cut away a lot of these threads. Then you're going to take some wonder clips and start gripping to the back of the little mini quilt. Go ahead and hand sew to the back of the mini quilt. This is the quilt block. I hope you've enjoyed watching the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.